Namaste, everyone. This is going to be our gentle restorative yoga for this week. Yesterday was the Indigenous Day, and so I brought in a little bit of storytelling from my weekend in Savannah and doing a hand fasting ceremony for one of my best friends, and how I brought in some shamanic principles into that ceremony because that's something that Stephanie really aligns with. I avoided talking too much about the new disruptions kind of going on elsewhere in the world, but I thought today we could be a little reflective on that. So I'm one of those people who believe that the division and the polarity that is existing in our world is spawning a lot from religion and politics. And there's always going to be some duality with people because we live in this three-dimensional world. However, I'm a big believer that we are evolving to a new dimension. And what's happening, at least in my mind, is that dark matrix that's kept us so divisive with each other, at war with each other. That veil of darkness and control and manipulation has been dissolving as more light has been coming into the planet, as more people are waking up to a lot of this control and manipulation. And you don't have to believe what I'm saying here at all. But I had told my boyfriend a number of months ago, he was discussing the war with the Ukraine and Russia. And I was like, there's going to be more happening because it's predicted to happen in the Middle East. And there's also a prediction that's going to happen in the East, probably China and Taiwan. And I'm like, don't be surprised if more pockets of war start popping up, because those power players are trying to gain control, are trying to hang on to that control. And so as horrific as what's happening, as horrific as some of those scenes are, it's important for us as yogis to come back to a place of unity, to come back to a place of harmony, to come back and to cultivate some inner peace, because that inner peace will have a ripple effect into the world, just like the horror that we're seeing can also create a ripple effect. So it's really, really important for us to find some equanimity inside, to find some mental sanity through all the insanity that we're witnessing. And well, let's neutralize our emotions if by chance you've been charged up from this event. I've been in discussion with a couple friends of mine about creating some sort of meditation where it's not about taking sides. It's really about holding space for peace. And I will let you know if that materializes, because we just started that conversation yesterday. So today, what I want us to focus on is cultivating some inner peace, cultivating some inner harmony. So yesterday, when we were talking about the elements and the four cardinal directions, and each of those having an element and what they represent and symbolize, you know, I had mentioned the east being air, the south being fire, the west being healing waters, and the north being earth. What I would like us to create today is this idea, when we're opening up the hips or the sacral part of our body, is to think about the fact that that Swadhisthana center is about one's own seat, one's proper seat. There's also this duality and polarity that can play out. So it's important to find balance in the mix. The same thing kind of shows up in the heart center that's related to the element of air, because the integration of the divine masculine and feminine come together to form a union at the heart, which is said to be the seat of the soul. So we may be opening up the heart, we may be opening up the hips today, because we want that harmony to exist. Another symbol that you could think of from the East that's good for the heart is the yin yang symbol. When we have that harmony, we are more in balance. So let's get started. I'll meet you on the mat. Have 2 blocks bolster available. And have a block beside you. And we're going to start off with the knees bent, feet apart, and knees together. Lower down to your back. Your hands can really rest anywhere, palms up or down. Begin taking deep sips of breath. And these deep sips of breath can calm the nervous system down. And this is something that I don't want you to take for granted. Be grateful that you're in a safe environment, that you're in the safety net of your home. That your breath is available. That you're not dealing with any triggers that make you experience that fight, flight, or freeze syndrome. Let's allow our hearts to open to hold space for people who are dealing with fight, flight, or freeze. As we fill up the lungs, we're also filling up the heart. As we're filling up the heart, we can tap into the attributes of the heart, such as empathy, compassion, loving kindness, bravery, then on your next in-breath, I want you to separate your knees, slide your left leg forward and out, and then still your right knee open to the side, but grab that block and prop it underneath your thigh. Take your hands to rest down on your belly. Keep the eyes closed. And breathe slowly and deeply in and out through the nose. This is our half butterfly or reclined tree pose. Continue to give yourself the gift of the breath. Let it ground you. Allow it to center you. Let it help to clear the cobwebs of the mind, so it's not as clouded or full. As some of those thoughts begin to dissipate through the power of the breath, bring yourself back into a state of calm. On your next inhalation, if it feels all right for your back and shoulders, take your arms and splay them overhead, like in a Y shape. So the pit of the arms and the palms are facing the ceiling, where you get a little bit more elongation to the spine, a little extra sway through the low back, and a little bit more upliftment in your heart. Constant mindfulness of the breath will help to magnetize the Sushumna channel, the central channel, and once activated, it allows us to come back into that state of harmony. On your next inhale, lift your right knee back up. As you exhale, bring your arms back around and clasp a hold of your right knee. And you can have a very light hold here. Oftentimes, when I ask people to take a hold of their knee, I see them squeezing so hard. And I can tell it's beyond the effort that you really need in this pose or is required. So just have kind of a loose grip. On your next inhale, release the hands, lift the foot overhead, and then clasp your hands together again, but behind your thigh. Just starting to open up the hamstrings. Hold 3 more breaths. Exhale, release your hold and lower the right leg down. Now bend your left knee. Take a hold of that block that's close by. Take that reclined tree again, but on the second side. Let your hands begin resting on your abdomen. The elbows are welcome to be fanned out. Soften your shoulders, but maintain control over your breath. Your next in breath, sail the arms overhead. Widen that space between the hands. Feel the difference in your torso. Feel the openness in your heart. You're breathing out, imagining that you're emptying out any fears, any doubts, any discrepancies, any mistruths. As you're breathing in, imagine you're breathing in joy, hope, love, faith. Let's inhale, start to lift the left knee. Exhale, bring the arms back around and gently hug it in. Gentle is enough. Now release that grip and fly the foot overhead. Clasp your hands behind the leg. Version of Padangusthasana A. You're ready, releasing that leg so it can slowly come back down to the floor. When that heel drops, you're going to slide the feet over to the right. Arms are going to shoot back up alongside the face, and you're going to curve the upper body to the right as well. You're in a supine variation of the crescent moon. Now, instead of being more relaxed in yin, because that's banana asana, we're going to activate a little bit. So slowly slide your heels out, turn your toes up, allow your right wrist to grab your I misspoke. Allow your right hand to grab your left wrist and lengthen out through the left arm. One more breath. Now, relax your hands. Walk your feet and slide your torso back to center. And then travel the feet over to the left corner of the mat. Sway the upper body to the same side, but flex your ankles. Take a hold of your right wrist. Lengthen through the right arm so it's a little bit more active today. This time when we exit this particular side, we're going to slide the feet wide. We're going to take the arms wide. And then I want you to bring in the affirmation. Bones, muscles, movement. I surrender now. Anxiety, elation, depression, any and all churning thoughts, I now give over to the hands of peace. And think about the relevance of that affirmation to the times we're living in now. What we're witnessing now. Let's pick up the feet, bend the knees, bring the arms back around, take the tree frog or stirrup pose where your thighs are wide, you're staying flat on your back, feet are soft, facial muscles soft, providing another opening for the hips. Anytime we're tucking the knees in, whether together or apart, singularly or double, then we're bringing some length to the lumbar area of the back, the low end of the back. Now let's bring the knees together, lower the feet to the floor, lift the arms straight up. Exhale, slide the arms beside your rib cage, push down through the upper arms, draw the shoulders and tuck them under the body, and jut the sternum up towards the sky. It's a modified way or a gentle way to do the fish pose. Your shoulder blades are cinching in towards each other. Your mid back is off the floor. Breathe. Then as you exhale, descend your heart, spread out your shoulders, roll to your right side body, push down into your left palm, and gently walk it up. Once you walk it up, we're going to cross the left foot in front of us and the right foot in front of the left. Sit up and then walk the hands out in front of you. And at some point, if you want to prop, you can. So if you don't want to go extremely deep, you can bring your bolster up underneath your brow like this. You could also stack blocks for your bolster in front of you and rest in prayer hands. You may want to go even lower. You're going to discern what you need in this moment when you explore your body. Find your restful place, close your eyes, soak it up, and breathe. Your next inhale, let's gently start to float the head up. And you're going to lean back into your hands. You're going to bend your knees, and you're going to do the windshield wipe twist as you swish the knees from side to side, back and forth. Notice my feet are as wide as the sticky mat, so there's space in between the legs. All right, we're going to come back up. Then the right foot is going to come towards the pubic bone first, then the left next. Once you're in this cross-legged position, extend the vertebrae, start to lean forward. Again, you can prop your brow on top of a standing bolster. You can prop into prayer hands using blocks or a bolster. And if your body allows, you can go even lower and deeper in the pose. Please don't force to do the same thing on each side, especially if there's quite a discrepancy between the two. More breath. Inhale, slowly start to back your way out. And as you start to back your way out, let's separate the feet like we did for the windshield wipe twist, except we're going to do something different. Hold on to your shins. Inhale, move through a seated cow, and then back it up to cat. And then do this several times. And then gently come up. All right, we're going to grab that bolster. We're going to take it behind us. And we're going to grab both the blocks. So the soles of the feet together this time with the block stacked under the thighs. The bolster under the spine. As you lay down, you can splay the arms and flip the hands to face up. Shoulders straight back and down. And if your hips are for whatever reason unsettled today with this opening, you can always straighten your legs. You could even tuck the blocks under your knees with straight legs like you would a bolster. Close and rest your eyes. We're going to come back to that affirmative statement. Bones, muscles, movement. I surrender now. Anxiety, elation, depression, any and all churning thoughts, I now give over to the hands of peace. mind, your heart starts to pull you in one direction or another, back to your breath. Let your breath provide a neutral state. Your body, in your mind, and in your spirit. You're going to begin to exit out, so you can lift your knees or slide your feet back depending on what position you chose. We're going to roll the way to the right side, and we're going to set the blocks up like columns, taking that bolster to rest on top. Lifting the legs over. And this will provide a nice counter from that back bend, since we're lengthening and flattening the back. Still providing some nourishment for the hips. I want you to take 7 deep breaths. And letting the breath go after that. Use the affirmation a final time. Bones, muscles, movement. I surrender now. Anxiety, elation, depression, any and all turning thoughts, I now give over to the hands of peace. Peace, be still, and know that I am. Let's deepen the flow of the breath and take 7 more. After those final 7, let's hug the knees in. Let's roll to one side of the body. Let's come up and sit on the bolster. And once you sit up, close your eyes. We all know what the peace symbol looks like and the yin yang symbol looks like. And what I want you to imagine in your mind's eye is if these symbols were raining down like droplets of water from the heavens down to the earth. You might want to picture it at first as though it's coming down on the North Pole. Down over Russia, the Nordic countries, Europe, Canada. Continue to imagine these droplets of peace, these droplets of harmony represented by these symbols, continuing to rain down over the Pacific, Atlantic, down through Asia, down through Southern Europe, down into the United States, to the Indian Ocean and all of the seas. And continue to allow these droplets holding the peace symbol, the yin yang symbol coming down, even below to Africa, Middle East, India, Mexico, Caribbean. Let it continue to come down into Central America, South America, continuing down Africa, to New Zealand and Australia, the other islands in the east, eventually to Antarctica. Let this harmony and peace fill up our land and waters. Let it drop down into the heart of the leaders that make the ultimate decisions. Down into every crown and every heart of every individual being. No matter the race, no matter the gender, no matter the age. Bring this peace and harmony into the elderly, to those into their midlife, young adulthood, adolescence, elementary, preschool, and infants. And let's draw the hands to prayer position at the heart. If we want to see peace, we must be peaceful. If we want to witness balance and harmony, we must become that ourselves. Let's take this with us as we depart. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May we walk away from this practice being free and at peace with anything out of our control, anything imposed upon us by another, or any internal stressors of our own. Om peace, peace, peace. Namaste.